It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my clock, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Hold up. Yeah.
Good morning. If anybody's here, we are in an unprecedented moment in time. No, not because the market's pulling back. That's kind of some of it. But we are in the process and we are in the midst of a trade that I have developed over the last 30 years. And I'll elaborate as we continue this conversation. We've got an hour to spend with each other. This trade's been working since I began trading, before I even used charts. Just trading what we used to call tape reading, or understanding volume and understanding level twos. Back in the day, when the retail trader was born, I am the grandfather of day trading because I was there when we created the phrase day trading, circa 1996, 97. We still didn't have the accessibility to what was about to be unleashed upon us. But around 96, 97, people started trading on their own a little bit more frequently. The internet was something where you had a little bit more access. But then the explosion happened circa 98, 97, 98, with a system called Small Order Execution System, SOES. I was going to show you something, but now I can't find it. Hold that thought. Well, apparently I must have lent it to somebody, and you know what happens when you lend somebody a book, you never see that book ever again. So I got a book called the SOES Bandits, Small Order Execution System Bandits. We're the SOES Bandits. That's what we were. And there's a book written about it by Harvey Hauken. I've got a copy of it on my website, as well as a wonderful book about trading mistakes and how to avoid them. So if I've got your attention right now, take a second to email me at kennyglick@aol.com. kennyglick@aol.com. Tomorrow night, I'm going to review what I'm about to tell you about this streak that we're on. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk about some of the trades we've been doing lately. Prepare for some options. If you don't know a little bit about options, I'll teach you a little bit about options tomorrow night. Usually I have a couple of guests on. I think I'm going to have a guy that's pitching me a SPAC of a film company, which is kind of interesting. I might have him on as a guest. Or another hedge fund guy that I'm friendly with who's turned bearish on the market. I don't know why, because he must be psychopathic to be bearish right now, but he is. Email me right now, kennyglick@aol.com. We'll hang out tomorrow night, and I'll teach you a little bit more about what we do. But right now, what I wanted to tell you, what's unprecedented, what we're in the midst of right now, is a streak that it sounds ridiculous every time I say it, but I've been saying it, and it started as, hey, this is working a lot. And then we realized, you know what? We haven't had a loss on this setup in a while. And then I went and back tested it, and I went back and looked, and I do these classes every 3 or 4 months where we go over the last 3 or 4 months of trades, and there hasn't been a loss. And now I went back and I did some digging. We haven't had a loss on the setup in over 3 years. What? Yeah. And every time I say that, I qualify that by saying you shouldn't believe that, nor should you. But every time I say that, the number is bigger and the streak continues. So now we're at 1,063. So remember when we started doing these conversations, having these conversations, I say, you're not going to believe this. You probably should come to the website because it's better to see the trade yourself than believe what I'm saying. And now we're at 1,000, around 1,068 now. What do we do? 4 today. And it's a very specific setup. And I remember, I don't know, a couple of months ago, Jeff and I, maybe even like 6 months ago at this point, maybe in the last year, I don't remember when times was flying. And Jeff and I, Jeff Bishop, of course, I'm talking about. And we did a little interview. We interviewed each other. We had him on the schmooze actually on a Thursday night. And he's like, so what have you been doing lately? And I basically said the same exact thing that I've been doing for the last 13 years. Because one thing about cliches about the stock market is if you have something that works, you continue to do it until it stops working. And this trade that I do, not only does it not stop working, it works better now because my idea, the thesis behind why this trade works so well, it's been working for 30 years, but now using VWAP and multiple time frame VWAP, you're getting into a trade that's worked very, very well prior to my VWAP life. And now with VWAP, it works every time. So if you're struggling with trading, why not take a trade that works every time? Now it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. And I can show you all the trades. And I'll show you on Saturday, if you guys are joining me, Saturday between 12 and 2 or 3 o'clock p.m. when the market's closed, I'm going to ramble off. I'm going to display 30 or 40 of those trades that have worked this year in a row with this high quality setup that continues to work. And the reason I always qualify myself is because I've been in the industry forever. And my father and I used to subscribe to newsletters, and they always had money back guarantees. They always gave these amazing claims. And if it doesn't work for you, then money back guarantee. And most of the time we got our money back because their claims were bullshit. My claim sounds like bullshit. Nothing works every time, but it continues to do so. And I'm baffled by it. So let me show you one of the trades, right? So before I get into the bread and butter, I just want to show you that it works on every stock. It just works better when the stock is quote unquote in play. And you're seeing it right here. You guys see the screen? Let me just make it bigger for you. Hello. You guys all see me? Everybody got me? You guys all see me? By the way, speaking of shorting is short-lived and you're going to die, do you know that 9 out of 10 stocks that have reported earnings that have gapped down on earnings have not just recovered, but have broke back above where they broke down from? I'm talking about AMD. Right. And again, this is just, how you, if you're delusional, like this hedge fund guy I spoke to last night, he's actually thinking that the world's going to implode because of the president, and it's all going to come to a head. And I was like, but now you're talking nonsense. The market's disconnected from reality of what the president's doing and economic turmoil or Ukraine and Russia. He thinks all that stuff is inevitably going to come to a head and people are going to get scared and start taking money out of this market again. I'm like, you're probably going to be wrong about that. This guy runs 8 billion. I'm buying 300 shares of Palantir. Obviously, this guy knows what he's doing. He's been in the business as long as I have. And he's super bearish right now. And I don't get it. But we'll talk about that some other time. But listen, the way I stay bullish, and again, I'm a bear. I'm looking for the signs. All the signs that used to work don't work anymore. Selling in May and going away, that doesn't work. Blow off tops that usually create downtrends, that doesn't work anymore. That used to be almost guaranteed. You get a stock that breaks a new high and then closes red, it usually follows through to the downside. That doesn't happen anymore. The dash for trash, something I learned, back when I began trading, that when the good stocks, quote unquote good stocks, right? when the good stocks run out of steam, people start buying the lower quality bullshit names like your BSLKs and your MNTS today. These are the two plays that we had. These are what I call bullshit names. Any stock that's up 50% is usually a bullshit name, pump and dump garbage. But for the last, however, it seems like since COVID, right? There's 3 or 4 stocks almost every day that are up 200, 500, 1,000, 10,000%. That dash for trash usually would say the market's about to run out of steam and we're going to go down. And that doesn't happen anymore. So basically what I'm trying to say is nothing makes the market go down anymore. So as this guy's trying to explain to me economic, saber rattling, they used to call it when wars are breaking out, that doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that stuff anymore. The money is just pouring into the market. And as I explain it, right, when people think, hey, this market's gone up too fast, too far, too fast, it can't keep going. Why not? Some kid just woke up and he wants to buy the Qs today. He doesn't care that they just rallied 180 points without a pullback. He doesn't give a shit. He wants into the market. His mom just started a 401k. She wants into the market. His uncle, right, just switched from balanced to aggressive growth, right? Everyone's buying because nobody wants to be left out of the next 3.5 years of absolute bullishness that is about to happen. So if you're thinking, I got to get out of the market because China might invade Taiwan, we've been hearing that story for 12 years now. Let it happen and nobody will care, right? So anyway, let's talk about this trade that never fails. So this morning, you walk in and a stock named Rigatoni, right? It's not Rigatoni. To us, it's Rigatoni because it's fun, because I give every stock a nickname. Rigetti Computing. You guys remember this one? I brought it to you at 83 cents because I was hip to the quantum stocks before anybody in the industry. I did a Yahoo Finance special about it, called it Rockets, Robots, Space, AI, Quantum, Chips. That's what's going to power the market up the next 100% in the next 3 years. Space, rockets, robots, right? Powered by AI, quantum, and the semiconductors that run it all. So the semis power the quantum computing, which builds the AI, which builds the space, the rockets to go to robot, and the robots to go to space. And that is why this market's not going down. I don't care what this $8 billion guy who called the market crash of 2000 thinks. It's not going to happen. And especially, it's not going to happen anytime soon because we had a fake crash on August 5th of last year. And we had 2 fake crashes on Tariff Guy with the cardboard that day, just spouting out numbers and naming countries. Whatever that moment in time was all about was pretty hilarious too, right? The idea of the market crashing 3 times in a 365-day period, unheard of. It's unheard of. We might get a correction because we have rallied the QQQ now from 398 to 583 without an actual pullback. And if you're thinking last 2 Fridays ago was a pullback, what? That was a half of a down day. We rallied into the close. There was really nothing going on there that day. So let's talk about this trade. And why this trade is awesome is because it transcends all market environments. It works in bull markets, bear markets, sideways markets, every market. So I come in and I say, hey, Rigatoni, right? RGTI. Why am I watching it? Because they reported earnings. So here's yesterday. Let me show it to you. This is yesterday's chart, right? So yesterday they reported earnings. And listen, the way I look at this stock is that I think the stock's going $120. So I'm super bullish. So I'm just looking for a reason to buy it, right? So I use VWAP to confirm my bias. That's one step of this trade, right? So I'm super bullish. So anytime a stock sells off on numbers, remember, those are old already. As soon as they release the earnings, it's old news. Now you want to hear about forward guidance and what they've got going on, right? So earnings per share, not good. Forward guidance, apparently good. And right here, this is what we call the fake out, shake out. And there's the VWAP break. And I actually traded the stock in the aftermarket at $15.95 because stocks that break VWAP that have reported earnings tend to go up. And look at this wonderful trade. He got paid. And then it rolled over and we sell out of it because if it breaks back below the VWAP, we just dump it. Right? So we sell some, get stopped out of the rest. No harm, no foul. Looking forward to it the next day. So that was last night. So I take these levels where it consolidated and formed a new range, and we call that the channel. Remember channeling, right? Channeling. So there's the channel, bottoms and tops of ranges. It kind of got rejected at the prior day VWAP there. And then I take those lines and I take that into consideration for today. The other lines. Look how you hit the bottom at 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, the stock is one of those that stays open 24/7. But more importantly, right here. This is the setup that works every time it ever shows up. And I'm saying now I could start saying every time because now it's over 3 years without a loss on this setup, which is it's unbelievable. And you shouldn't believe it, but it's true. So I come in ready to buy, and now I'm just waiting for the setup to confirm my idea, right? So it breaks the VWAP, goes back up, and then slightly breaks that low and forms a new channel. So fake out, shake out, and then back above the VWAP, buy it. Now, lately, and I guess 3 years, you could still say it's lately, this trade never fails. One day, I'm guaranteeing you it will fail. Eventually, it will. Inevitably, they're going to break the streak. It's 1,065 in a row over 3 years. It's unheard of. So one of these days, it's going to not work. So let me show you why it's still a great trade. If you're buying it after this fake out, shake out moment, fake out, shake out, and then it breaks the VWAP and you're buying it at 1585, the fake out and the shake out areas are your stops. So you're doing a trade with very limited risk. And if you're a buyer, by default, you have limited risk and unlimited potential. Wouldn't you want to have that on every trade you do? Well, welcome to this setup. Limited risk, you're buying 85. The most you're risking here is 13 cents with an unlimited potential. And not a bad payday, right? So we're in from 1585. What happens at 16 bucks? We sell some. And then we have our break even as our stop. That's how you stay a viable, consistently good trader. You sell something, you hope for more, and then you place your stop. You buy, you sell something, you place your stop, and you hope for more. And in this case, oh boy, we got a lot more because it broke VWAP. And then right at the open where I was suggesting, hey, maybe we sell right before the open. But the thing is, it went green. So going green is the reversal part. So back when Kenny Glick in his younger days, I would just wait for the stock to go from red to green or green to red. That's the reversal. VWAP is getting me in before the reversal part. So I'm already in almost with an quote unquote anticipation of it going green. I don't care if it goes green or not because I'm selling into this move anyway, but then it went green. So you got your 1 minute multi-day VWAP earnings reversal and it went up close to another $1. Now, I ain't gonna bullshit you. I was selling into this move. I didn't have any by the time it got to 17.25. I was already done. Right? So I'm selling into this move, 1625, 1650. By 1650, I'm done. And it was a great trade. Right? From 1585 to 1625, 1650. Now, you see how it broke back under the VWAP. Normally, I would take a short. So I would go from being long to shorting it there because stocks that break back below the VWAP tend to go back to prior day. And look what it did. Now, I could have made money on that trade too, but I'm super, super bullish. So I just waited for another reason to buy it. Consolidating at prior day VWAP, consolidating at prior day VWAP, consolidating at prior day VWAP, breaks the VWAP, buy it. We're in. And this time it only popped what? 40 cents. So we took a little bit off, and in this case, got stopped out at break even on the way back down. Okay, cool. Man, I'm loving this trade. I hope I get another chance at it. Oh, good, it's breaking down. Am I shorting it? No, I don't short stocks too often anymore because it doesn't work. So I wait to victimize the people that think shorting is still a viable way to trade because it's not right now. It will be sometime in 2028 again. But look at the wonderful setup that it brought us again. So you see how it wicked? That wick got everybody out, right? So the stop hunters, the Citadel stop hunters that do exist. I know a guy that created them. They do exist. And by the way, some of my members right now are psychotically short the Qs right now, and they're still short from way back at 940. Let's give it up to the Minotaur, hanging in there like a champ. We bought the 580 puts for 43 cents. I'm out because, again, you give me 100% on a contract, especially on a put in a market that never goes down. I'm sold. Some of us still have it. I'm not in. But let me walk through this trade one more time. So even if you miss the first wonderful move, the second decent move, look at this wonderful moment where it wicks them out, stops them out, fake out, shake out, and then it starts to rally. And I'm sitting there going, okay, if it breaks VWAP, I got to buy this thing back. And then it rolls over. I'm like, oh my God, is this stock actually going to stay down? And then right in that moment, it faux shows again, faux show right there, back here. And now it's breaking VWAP again. I'm in. So faux show, bro, VWAP break on a stock that reported earnings. We're back in at $16.16. Looking at prior day VWAP as one of our stops and the bottoms of these candles as our second and third stops. And we get back to where we had it before. So we sold some. And then when it broke through there, we're thinking, hey, this thing's going to 1723. But then what happened? It broke here, broke here, broke here, broke here. And we're like, okay, what are we going to do? Oh, no, it's going down. Sold it. And now we're out again. So in one day, this trade provided 3 winning trades. And again, as a day trader, all you're trying to do is be consistent and get paid. Trade hasn't failed us in 3 years. But now let me show you the monster. And its name is Kava. And some of us are still long. And I'll explain why. So Kava, if you know, is a company that is a wannabe Chipotle. And the stock will be at zero inevitably because nobody invests in restaurant stocks. And this stock will not be the next Chipotle, and inevitably it will go to zero. And I've been telling people to short it ever since I saw it over $150 a share. But typical, if you guys have been in the industry long enough, restaurant stocks, the most fatty, not fatty, fad, they're fads. Everybody loves it, right? You guys remember Yeti, right? Everybody had to own one of their cups and their mugs, right? And everybody wanted to be involved, right? What did the stock wind up doing? Go to like 200, didn't it go to like 190, something like that? Has it been this long already for this stock? Wow. Yeah, so basically that's every stock. They have their momentum. Everybody thinks it's the next greatest thing in the world. And then they crash. Then they go sideways and either they roll over and die or they just basically stay there. And every once in a while, they get resurrected. But most of the time, you're looking at stocks like GoPro, right? GoPro has its moment. Everybody wants it. And then you realize they have one product. And once you buy your GoPro, you don't have to buy anything ever again. And the stock goes to zero because most stocks suck, right? What was my point? I forgot my point. What was I even talking about? I don't know. I just keep talking. What the hell was I just talking about? Now I forgot the point I wanted to make. Talking about pump and dumps. Shit. I gotta stop smoking weed. That's the point. Pump and dump, something. All right, these blah. I don't even know what the hell I was saying. Let's just go back to some of these trades that we were doing. So, Kava. Thank you. All right, there you go. The brain just kicked in. Right, most stocks are Kava. Right, so Kava. Right, stock goes from $30 to $172. Garbage. Right? It's not going to be the next Chipotle. So I was shorting it up here and I made some decent money and I was going to gamble against it, but I don't like buying options into earnings reports. And too bad I blew it. Right? So am I disappointed that I didn't buy puts? Yeah. But now that it's crashed, now it's just CAVA to me. It's not a restaurant. And by the way, they do have really, really tasty pita chips. I don't hate it, but I know it's a garbage piece of shit restaurant stock that's inevitably going to crash because they always do. That was my point. So then I come in today and I'm like, oh, Kava, getting hammered. I knew it. Now what? I'm looking to buy it because we buy stocks that report earnings that are getting crashed, that are crashing. When do we buy them? Take a wild guess. VWAP. And what's our target? Prior day VWAP. And speaking of that, see that stock right there? Fly, is anybody involved? That's an IPO that crashed and it's trying to come back. It's interesting. I'll show it to you in a second. But see this trade? You see how it was getting rejected. You're thinking, man, this stock is going to zero. But then it breaks VWAP. Buy it. Because the trade works every time. You don't ask questions. You don't say to yourself, oh, I thought they were going to zero. Well, what does this company do? How is the EBITDA? How is their burritos? Do you think this company is any good? None of that matters. You're buying it because it reported earnings, the stock has crashed, and now it's breaking VWAP. And you know, this is when you could actually say you know something. Stocks that have reported earnings that have already crashed, that break today's VWAP, tend to go up. And sometimes they go up a lot and they go test their old friend, the orange line, which is prior day VWAP, because that's how the market is now built. So what our algo here does is just search for companies that have reported earnings that are trading under the VWAP to buy. Trades that are gapped up, we look to short them, and I'll show you the one I shorted today. But more importantly, 1,059th trade in a row using this setup. And if you are struggling with your trading, raise your hand if you've had some bad days this year or moments, or you haven't really got your footing yet. Why not stay focused on a trade that works every time it shows up? And again, the best part of it, and I'm promising you this, and I probably shouldn't say this, I'm promising you one won't work soon. I guarantee it. There'll be a trade one day where it breaks VWAP, pops, rolls over, and crushes you. It's going to happen. Just hasn't happened yet. And by the way, you're never going to get crushed trading my style because, like I said, if you're the buyer of the Kava at the VWAP break, every trade you put on with Kenny Glick and the Hit the Bid crew and Solid Jello, every trade you put on, you know why you're buying it. VWAP break on an earnings report. Need I say more? You know the trade works, but you always prepare for it not to work. and you have limited risk. So if you're buying 64.20, the fake out and the shakeout areas are your stops. So here you're buying something at 64.20. Your first stop 63.75, and your second stop is the low of the pre-market. And if you're taking notes, don't ever let a stock break pre-market lows with you still being long. Ever. Because you know something's wrong with that stock and it's going lower. By the way, if you're still short the Qs, come on, for the love of God. Would you plummet 2.5 points? It's amazing, these QQQ, how it just won't go down. I mean, we've rallied from 398 to 583 without any significant pullback. It is just insane, to the point where I lost my mind yesterday, and I'm slowly picking up the pieces. I just went freaking ballistic yesterday. Anyway, so here you've got a trade where you're risking, let's just do the easy math. Your entry 64, your out is 63.50. So quick math, you're risking 50 cents, and you see the orange line up there at 71. So you're buying here at 64, 50-cent risk with a possible 7-point return. And if you keep taking or finding trades where you're risking 50 cents to possibly make 7, and you hit it, now you could lose on the next 30 trades and still come out ahead using proper risk management and discipline. But guess what? The trade didn't fail, and you got paid the 7 points. And then we joked around and we said, all right, now that we crushed it on rigatoni and kava, and then we had my new favorite stock, Momentous, MNTS. Why is this my new favorite stock? The name of the stock, Momentous. How are you not buying Momentous in a momentum-driven market today? Momentous. So missed the first move, missed the second move, missed the third move. Then look what happened. It pulls back, holds the VWAP from on top, test of strength, bought it right here, 166, rips to 196, and then right before the market opened, I didn't want to be involved, so I sold it here, and then I watched it in horror as it ripped to 233 without me, just being straight up with you. I'm not going to bullshit you. I was out of the name. But then look what happened. Little faux show bro action, little consolidation, little range break, and then a VWAP break. Hell yeah, I bought it back. And I chased it, because when I see a faux show underneath VWAP, I expect there to be a bro. Faux show, bro. And even though I was late, I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot at 183 because I'm only risking 9 cents. Yeah, you know. And wham, you got paid. Now, here's where the fun part we went crazy. The QQQ, which never goes down because we're in a bull market from hell, which probably will last till 2028 without any significant pullbacks, all the way to 1,040 at, you guys know the date, April 20th, 4/20, 2028 at 1:43 p.m., the QQQ will hit 1,038. Write that down. Because when it's there and you say, I didn't say so, I'll see you there. And by the way, when we're at 1,038 and SRAD is at $100 at that point also, you guys still own SRAD, right? Parties at my house. I'm going to have a nitrous oxide tent. Midget Kiss is going to be there, grain alcohol, and fire dancing. It's going to be off the hook. Did he say Midget Kiss? I did. And if you don't know Midget Kiss, then you don't know Midget Kiss. So let's talk about some other trades, because we're on the most amazing streak of our lives right now, right? So the market decided to sell off today. Now, we're not going to pretend that we thought this was even going to work. but we tried it anyway because the market said, hey, you got a shot. Because now you're breaking VWAP and you're breaking the low of the day. My God, can we actually pull back? And the answer was yes. So we bought the 580 puts. And you want to see something cool? If you guys don't know about this on Thinkorswim, you could plot the option itself by clicking on the sub box and then clicking the option QSIP, boop, and it puts it on the chart. So if this was a stock, right, wouldn't you buy it? Faux show bro, faux show bro, faux show bro. So right here on the faux show bro, we got involved at 43 cents and sold some at 75. Got stopped out of some on the way back down at 55. And then the rip to 85. Got stopped out of some at 75 again. And then by 85, I decided to get the hell out because I was happy. And then they wound up going, some of us, and some of us are actually still in the same trade. I'm not delusional to think the market actually could go down today because it never goes down. So if you can get an actual 2.5 point pullback, that's probably all you're going to get. One day it'll be different, but today's not that day. How do I know today's not going to be that day? Because UVXY is still red. The market never goes down when UVXY is red. It could pull back. You could make 100% on an option trade, but don't be delusional to think we're actually going to follow through to the downside. That's just silly because the market never goes down. And if you think I'm just saying that, go watch most of my videos from 2007. The market never goes down. And now we're in a market that has power gapped since May 12th, making it virtually impossible to even get a pullback to last. I think we're due. I am counting on another pullback where we can make some money, but I believe that generational lows are in for the market. And whenever this next real pullback comes, not 16 cents or $2. I'm talking about a nice healthy 3.5%, 5% pullback. That'll be the last one we see for probably years. So I think it may happen again. And I was going to allude to this conversation earlier about how what has been working to find shorts. Well, I had that conversation with you. None of it works now. Blow off tops don't work. Dash for trash doesn't work. Momentum to the downside is met with an equal and greater move to the upside. Nothing works. Yes, weed stocks going up might be the ultimate dash for trash. You're right about that. Great point. And you got China and you got weed stocks. We're at an inflection point. But the thing is, my point is no matter how many signs you see that used to mean something about the market's health, none of it matters anymore. So now we're at the last bastion. I don't even know. The last moment, the last attempt. Will we now destroy the seasonality of it all? Because generally, starting on August 18th, we get into a seasonal time that generally does work. If you guys are reading the Almanac, and if you don't, get in touch with Jeff Hirsch and get involved in the Stock Traders Almanac. It's a great tool. It's a great book. Everything about him. Also a great person. Stock Traders Almanac, Jeff Hirsch. His father, Yale Hirsch, started the Almanac. Obviously, selling in May and going away would have been the worst trade of the last 30 years this year. So now, will seasonality even count or mean anything? So I'm thinking it won't, because this market is in another realm right now. So we'll see. We'll see. But one thing's for sure is that the market doesn't go down with UVXY trending down. UVXY needs to be at least not going down. Some stability, but it just goes down every day. Until UVXY wakes up and stay in I can't even say this without smiling, an uptrend in UVXY. When you see an uptrend in UVXY for a day or two, maybe the market is ready to actually give back something where we can make real money as shorters. Now, all that being said, Palantir had a blow off top, right? Broke a new high, came right back, broke VWAP, and then it tried to recover, and then it rolled, and then it broke down. And I should have shorted it there, but I'm deathly afraid of shorting Palantir because the stock never goes down. And then it started to go down. And I was like, you know what? Yo, either let him out or kick him in the face. What are you doing? I never kick my dog. I'm just being funny. So Palantir, against every fiber of my being, I actually shorted the stock at 187 and got paid. And that's alarming. You know why? Because it never really works. And we got paid, and of course it came to an end, and we got stopped out around on the move back up, and now it actually is rolling over a little bit. But this is another trade where it's a VWAP break, 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Not an earnings report, but trade continues to work with that wonderful setup that we have. And that's the majority of what we did today. So if you guys are still with me, we got about 20 minutes to spend together. I have 0 trades on right now, except, stuff that I've been in. Oh, wait, there was one more. It was CoreWeave. I'm sorry. I want to highlight them all. So CoreWeave, right? And here's the funny part, right? Look at the stock getting absolutely hammered. I bought it. I was long, right? So it got a little double bottom, 931, 932. All right, breaks VWAP. I'm in at 133. Stock went to 134.50. At 134, you know what I'm doing with my monster trade of 200 shares? I'm selling 100 shares. So I had 200 shares at 133 VWAP break on an earnings report. I love this trade, right? I had to buy it because that's my law. I trade stocks that are gap down that break VWAP on earnings. And I bought it. And it went up almost $1.50, right? Next thing you know, it's rolling over. What did I do? I sold my other 100 shares for a 12-cent gain. So I sold 100 shares for a $100 gain, the other 100 shares for a 12-cent gain. So I made $112 on the trade. And then it rolled over and died. My son, fuckhead that he is, left his wallet in dead man's hand. My son took it under advisement, and he said, well, if it's rolling over and breaking the 930 low candle, shouldn't I short it, Dad? And he shorted it. Good boy, at 130.5, and he got paid a couple of points on the downside. And of course, he had to get stopped out on the way back up. Then, because I made money on the long, he made money on the short, right there, that confirmed that you probably should get short again because it broke VWAP and then it tried to get back above it, confirming the weakness. And he got short again and made some more money. And then he got nervous and stopped out again right there. But he did the wrong thing by getting out of the entire position, and he missed the lovely 10-point sell-off. He's a rookie. What can you do? That's why you don't get out of your entire position at one price. And that's the day. And that is the majority of the day. Some of our guys, like I said, are still short. SRAD, if you guys are in it, freaking love it. Keeps consolidating and breaking new highs. I sold my Palantir. If this is the first time I have no Palantir in my life, for the first time in 5 years, I am out of the stock, but I am naked. Some puts. I sold some 95s going out to next March. So in theory, I'm still long Palantir, but I'm not long the stock anymore for the first time in quite some time. Been my favorite stock since the IPO. We don't got to get into that story. You've heard the story a million times. But right now, my friends, email me, kennyglick@aol.com. I got 2 free books I want to give you. I want to give you a free options seminar. I want to teach a little bit about options. I want to prepare you for Friday's options exploration. I want to get to know some of you guys if you don't know me personally. And then, if you really want to take this to the next level, on Saturday, we're doing a class. So if you join, this is a special bonus. If you join our website, like really join it, pony up some cash, join for a month, you're going to get a free class. And get this, I'm going to tell you a secret here. I probably shouldn't tell you this. I probably shouldn't say this part out loud, but I will because I'm such a nice guy. Want to hear this? If you join my website right this second for a month, I'm doing a class on Saturday. So if you join right now and you pony up to whatever the hell I don't even know what we charge for the website anymore because I just trade all day and I just hope all the pieces fall in around me. If you join the website right now, I'm going to give you a free class. Free, but it could be really free. So here's the scam that you could scam me, because there's a way to scam me right now, and hopefully you don't. But if you join right now for a month, you get the class for free. But you also get 2 weeks to decide whether or not you want to stay. See how nice I am? Because I know after a class and spending 2 weeks with me, you're going to stay the extra month and pay for everything. But if you really want to try to sucker Kenny Glick and get some free content and free shit out of me, now's your chance. Join the website right now. I'll see you tomorrow night. I'll see you on Friday. And I'll see you on Saturday for 3 more hours. And I'm going to drill this trade into your head, where to buy it, what the risk parameters are, how to identify risk, where to place the stops. The only thing I'm not going to give you is my secret code that gives you prior day VWAP. Then you actually have to be a real member for at least a month. And I'll give you my chart that we used to charge $3,000 just for the setup. So if you really want, again, I didn't want to make this a sales pitch, but now's your chance to get some free stuff. And I'll give you the 2 free books. And if you act now, a free pearl necklace and a silver coin. Actually, I do give out silver coins to special people. And if you guys like silver, I like you. Anything with a bull and a bear on it, I'm in. Look at this bad boy. I just picked up 100 of these. This is, let me show it to you. Wham. Or wham. Wham. You got a bull on one side, and then you flip it over, and there's a bear. Ooh, cool. Retail value, $50. And I'll give it to you for nothing if you join Kenny Glick Trivia Night, Thursday night at the Schmooze. And you better be familiar with who my broker was from 1993. All right, so what do we got? We got one guy talking in the chat room, and that's about it. What's up, Pascal? So if anybody has any questions, I'd like to show you how I could VWAP anything. Because I'm very content with what I have accomplished today. And as a trader, you have your goal. You hit your goal. And that's your job. Now I can tell my mom I have another job. I have a job. That's basically it's been my goal for the last 30 years, to not get a real job, make some money, and tell my parents that I have a job. Even though they still, to this day, they say, no, you don't. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got anything you want to ask me? Now's the time. Me. So basically, one guy's here, right? Well, thanks for being here. One guy. One guy? You were about to give $100 million of evidence to one guy? Where's your asshole partner? And if you know that movie, free access. I'll give you a hint. Gregory Hines. And it's in these moments where I just think I might be yelling into the air. Is anybody here? Because I could just go play shuffleboard. Cut the show off. VWAP. Well, there's a dead stock for you. Actually, you know what? It tries to make these comebacks. Oh, by the way, hello, Frisco. You just hit lows. Wow. All right, TTD, one of the worst stocks on the planet. This is one of the ones that hasn't recovered from earnings day. I'm kind of putting this one on the shelf. You know, it's got to show me something. Give me a high break of the earnings day, and I'm going to love it. But right now, this thing is awful. It is awful. And when a stock is awful in this market, it usually stays awful. Like the only other trade I forgot to mention today, I shorted eToro because as JC and I were talking, if your stock stinks in this market, you probably have the worst stock ever, which is eToro's IPO. This stock sucks. And stocks that break 50 coinciding with all-time lows, short them. And we got paid 2.5 points. And I wouldn't even cover unless it breaks back over 50, which I don't think you're going to see. And now tomorrow, when it breaks 47.37, it'll be going to 45, and then zero. What else? You got 19 letters. That ain't a real stock. ALGT. I don't know. But what in the heck is that? 3 days. That's a pretty. Look at that. You got a monster sell-off into a monster gain. Wow. Doesn't seem to have a lot of volume. Man, wow. Let me tell you something about whatever this is. That's an algorithmic accumulation by an institution. Whatever that is, don't sell it. Whatever that is, that when you don't break trend for that's almost 48 hours of buying. Don't sell that stock. Wow, that's sick. That's just a steady buying. Somebody wants this stock. Wow. Don't know what it is, but congratulations. Wow. And by the way, I didn't mean to get excited about the QQQ breaking lows because, you never get excited about being short the Qs. I'm just excited that my friend finally did make some more money on his short. Look, you still haven't even hit prior day VWAP. So this is still not even a sell-off. This is a pause. Break the orange line and start really going down, then you could start calling it no, you really can't. This is still a fart in the wind. $1 on a $580 product that has just rallied almost 200 points, and all you're getting is $1 on a pullback. Like I said, it's almost not worth doing these trades, but at least it worked today. What else you got? Apple, how to play it? Don't short it today, but this was the one that was holding the market up. So I've been waiting to see it break down. So again, very difficult even suggesting shorting. We already got paid on a QQQ short. It's probably just came to an end. But, if you're thinking about shorting because it's approaching VWAP, let it rally first. And then if it rolls through it, if you're thinking about shorting it, and then make sure you cover when it gets back to that price, if it ever does break VWAP today. But you see how the Qs, right? They finally got some momentum to the downside. And what happened? It was met with an equal and greater move right back to the upside. That's why shorting is basically illegal. And you have to take profits on the way down because inevitably one of these moments is going to just engulf all of this bearishness all in one candle, break VWAP, and rip into the floor. Because that's been the standard practice every day. What else you got? Rum. Wonderful short the other day. That was one of our streaky trades. That's on our list. So this stock a couple of days ago reported earnings, right? And like I said, the trade hasn't failed in 3 years. And what was that trade? I don't buy stocks that are gapped up, even though this was a faux show, bro. VWAP break for the win first. I came in and I did this trade. VWAP break, gapped up stock, breaking VWAP, goes back to the orange line. Had a nice little 50-cent move right there. Crushed this thing that day. But not a fan of this stock at all. But today, fighting and clawing its way back to prior day VWAP. If you're in it now, you got two specific areas of concern. The VWAP at 821 and that pivot point at 812. So if you're long, you're waiting to see if it breaks back over orange and keeps going. But your stops would be 821 and 812. And a couple other stocks, if nobody has any names you want to look at specifically, big fan of Lyft. Big fan, massive fan. Numbers are out. They weren't any good. Nobody cared. Stocks now all about contracts with China and some ride sharing and robo taxis and whatever. I like the pivot, right? It's a low risk trade. Follow through in the next couple of days. And if you're still trading BSLK, you're a psychopath, but you just got paid. Now look at that chart. That's a split adjusted. See, this is going to be inevitably at zero again. But right now, you don't care, right? And I'll get to that one. ATNF. That's the other psycho stock that we traded yesterday. But now, you see the channel. Remember, I set this one up earlier for you. Little faux shows, little channeling. Channeling. If it stays in the channel and breaks the top of the channel, momentum tends to kick back in. And if you just did trade this stock, that's an $8, that's a $7.88 entry to $9.88 basically. The money again, these trades just keep finding us. Once you understand market mechanics using VWAP and ranges, and again, VWAP's down here is not really helping you anymore. This is some pump and dump reverse stock bullshit. Talk to me about Blush. Yeah, I'm waiting for the stock to come out. It hasn't come out. I'm waiting here. I was hoping to be on the air when it came out. And I'll look at that one for you. FANTF. Right. So again, this is now the fad of the week or the month. All you do is mention some sort of Bitcoin that you're using as your treasury. Use MicroStrategy in a sentence, and your stock rips. So this one was from yesterday, right? And yesterday was its first day of its explosion, and it was sick. No, sorry, that was this morning. That was yesterday. The stock again started as, hey, what's this? I don't know. Faux show, bro. VWAP break. Hey, exciting. And then look what happened. A couple of faux shows, another faux show, VWAP break. Our entry, this is the one I played. I got in from 550 up to about 6.25. Shot up to 7, rolls back over. Sadly, I sold it at 6.25. And then obviously, I think you know what this one did. It went to basically $12. And then this morning, it went to $20. But more importantly, if you're looking at it right now, it's a blatant short, 100% short, right? Inevitably, the stock will be at zero because most of these pump and dumps do go back to where they came from. But you don't want to short them until they break VWAP, test from underneath, and then roll. Because that confirms your short idea. Plus, it gives you risk reward in your favor because if you're shorting on this roll, you know you're covering the VWAP and the top of that candle if you're wrong. Qubits, love it. Love all the quantums. Love them all. Just hoping for some consolidation for the next breakout. Love them all. Big fan. Space rockets, robots, quantum, AI, and chips. Big fan. All right, 1 o'clock, my friend. So email me right now. 2 free books. 2 free books. Plenty of option talk. And if you do act now and you join my website, which is hitthebid.com, you could get a free class out of it. Just try not to be such a dastardly human being and sucker your way through that, like I explained. But now's your chance. Lots of free shit with Uncle Ken. I hope to see you. And I hope to see you for the next month, 2 months, 6 months, and maybe we'll all be together. Hopefully, we're all together on April 20th, 2028, when I'm cashing out of the queues over 1,000 parties at my house. Bring your own weed. I'll supply the nitrous oxide. See ya! Have a nice afternoon.